Godzilla vs. Megalon, here we go. For fuck's sake, I can't do this. Oh wait, I'm not reviewing the movie? Oh, it's a comic? Well, in that case... The Godzilla vs. Megalon movie came to American theaters in 1976, courtesy of CinemaShares International Distribution Corporation. The timing was quite intentional. That same year would see the release of the blockbuster King Kong remake, so people were— Wait a minute! I've seen this poster before. Oh, come on! Yup, CinemaShares had no shame riding King Kong's coattails. They even spoofed the poster, even though the physics of this image make no sense. And even though there are no New York scenes in Godzilla vs. Megalon. But that's okay, I think this poster still looks kinda cool. CinemaShares was very invested in making Godzilla vs. Megalon a hit. And as part of their publicity campaign, they gave away a free Godzilla comic to theatergoers. And I have a copy of that comic, motherfucker! It's not in the best shape, so it didn't cost me an arm and a leg, thank God. As you can see, this is just 4 pages, no covers, and it's made on newsprint. So why is this cheap movie theater giveaway so special? This is the very first licensed Godzilla comic in America. So do you guys want to read it together? Do you? Do you? CinemaShares International Distribution Corp presents Godzilla vs. Megalon. Concept and story by R.J. Wilson. Oh, R.J. I'm gonna have words for you later. Drawn by Swift Spear. What do you guys think Swift Spear's doing right now? Here on Earth, undersea volcanic eruptions are common in the mid-Pacific region. But never has there been a disturbance quite like this. From the midst of the seething foment, a gigantic form slowly emerges, a ghastly sight, some freakish mutation. The colossal, hellspawn misanthropoid fearfully known as Megalon. And we are now 1/4 finished with the comic book. So the art's pretty cool. I like how in this picture you can kind of see the streaks of the magic markers they use to color this panel. And this shot here looks like he just colored a still from the movie. On a pair of blistered wings, Megalon takes to the sky, en route to the nearest civilized shore. For only there can he sate his energy hunger. The combined power of man's most advanced technology is no match for Megalon. Heedless, Megalon takes what he wants, oblivious to the pandemonium he creates. We are now halfway through the comic book. Yeah, 50% of this comic is Megalon's introduction. But the art is pretty cool. I like the panel treatment here. Also remember, this is the first time a lot of Americans are seeing Megalon. What do you think they made of this big dick on his head blowing a load on the fire? So already you're probably noticing some major differences from the movie. Megalon's on his own here instead of working for the Cetopians, and he's got an energy hunger. Plus there are no kids riding weird fish boats, and why do these kids always have stupid short shorts? I feel like I'm gonna get arrested for my browser history. There is one last resort. To fight monster with monster! Godzilla realizes that he stands little chance of subduing the boorish might of Megalon unassisted. Is that boorish? Boorish? Seeking help, he beckons across the wide seas to the super keen electronic hearing of his friend and ally, Robot Man? What the fuck? R.J. Wilson, come here. Closer. Come closer. Fuck you! I guess Toho forgot to tell the American distributors some keen details. Or maybe us Americans just didn't do our homework. And why does Robot Man look like he's having a heart attack? And why is Godzilla chilling on a cliff? How does he know he has to stop Megalon? How did he meet Robot Man? Also, Swift Spear, your art's starting to slip now. Come on, buddy. By now, Megalon has acquired a partner in crime, the fiendish Bo Rodan. It fucking says Bo Rodan. You guys, it fucking says Bo Rodan! Okay, well, we'll give them a pass on not knowing Gigan's name. After all, his first real appearance was in Godzilla vs. Gigan in 1972, but America didn't get that film until 1977 under the name Godzilla on Monster Island. So everything's all out of order. Also, is Godzilla flying here? Well, he's got the smoke coming out of his mouth, so I guess this is technically in line with his flight scene in Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Damn, he must be fast. He got to the battle before Jet. Alright, let's finish this comic. But Robot Man arrives just in time. What's happening back there? The tide of the battle is turned. Remember, when the fight is monster against monster, the outcome is irrelevant. Because good will always triumph over evil. The end.
Godzilla vs. Megalon is coming soon to a theater near you!
Apparently Megalon and Gigan die in this version. So there you have it, 2 pages of Megalon buildup followed by 2 pages of nonsense. I'm not even sure how to rate this. 3 stars! Why not? Some of the art is pretty neat, and technically it does tell a full story about good versus evil. Plus, it is historically significant as the first ever licensed Godzilla comic in America. But is this comic better than the actual movie? One day we'll address that in a very thorough movie Yes, this is so much better than the movie. This fucking kid. You're looking at one of the earliest Godzilla video games ever made, Godzilla-kun. This was a game for the MSX, along with this Mothra video game called Monsters Fair. I've got some things to say about Godzilla-kun and Monsters Fair. 1984 was a big year for Godzilla. He was back in Japanese movie theaters after a 9-year break. Japan was all in on Godziland, a marketing blitz with tons of merchandise featuring little cute versions of Godzilla and other monsters. And the very first Godzilla video games were making their debut. 3 of these early games were on the MSX, a popular system at the time. They were Godzilla vs. 3 Giant Monsters, which I've already covered in a previous video, and Godzilla-kun and Monsters Fair, which I will cover right now. Godzilla-kun is officially a Godzilland video game, and I've always thought it was really cool that Godzilland got an actual video game. In this game, you play as Godzilla, and you have to go on a quest to save Manila through a maze that's formatted like a perfect square with 49 rooms. Hey, this is the plot of the movie Cube. Each room you go in has a puzzle where you need to figure out how to clear the big rocks. And while you're doing this, fucking everyone is attacking you! Look at this guy immediately charging at me. That's Anguirus! That's my best friend! Not anymore! I can expect this behavior from Mechagodzilla and Hedorah, but Rodan? Baragon? I can't trust anybody. Your default defense is a giant fist punch. Yeah, fuck all of you for doing this to me. You send those assholes flying right off the screen. Except Hedorah. Hedorah will only go back a little, then come charging at you all over. You can also get rid of these guys by pushing boulders on them. Holy shit, did you just see that? I splattered him into a pool of blood. It even made a splash sound. Godzilla is a murderer, but it's okay, they come right back. What is this door, some kind of cloning device? If Godzilla loses his life bar, he too spontaneously combusts into a cloud of blood. Just like in the Godzilland art. You can climb vines, but don't go into water because it's common knowledge that water kills Godzilla. Water kills Godzilla. Each time you clear a room, you can pick a direction to go, and the point is to work your way around the grid and find the room with Manila. Get off the vine, you're gonna die! Ow! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the... There are power-ups along the way, like an hourglass that stops time for a few seconds. Wait, why does Mechagodzilla have a pool of blood? A bomb that clears the screen. And the instruction book says there's a power-up where you can use your atomic breath, too. I just haven't found it. And if you take too long to clear a room, King Ghidorah shows up and fucks you up. He's invincible and he comes right after you.
Alright, let's start with the good. It doesn't look bad for 1985. It definitely gives me that early video game feel, like Burger Time or Dig Dug. Some sprites look really good. I like a good puzzle game, and this one delivers with increasingly difficult puzzles as you Oh fuck, I'm trapped! And one cool feature of this game is that you can actually customize puzzles. Yeah, it's got a built-in Mario Maker, that's cool. Although I can't really make this feature work out on this ROM. Help! I'm trapped! I'm trapped in an endless void! The game is intuitive, it's pick up and play, and it's pretty easy to earn more lives as you go, so with effort, this whole thing is entirely doable. But the bad stuff? Oh boy, here it comes. The monsters are annoying as fuck. They're constantly in your face. Even if you manage to kill one, he respawns right away. There's no moment of peace. And if you're constantly worried about these assholes, it's hard to focus on solving the puzzle. You're literally trying to do two things at once. It's like if someone made you do math homework, but while you're doing it, you also have to block him from slapping you in the face over and over. And some monsters are bigger pains than others. Rodan and Hedorah are particularly brutal. If Rodan comes at you from directly above or below, there's nothing you could do. You're taking some damage. And if Hedorah blocks your path, fuck you. You're trapped and the only way out is to take some more damage. And that's happened more than a few times. Whether I take damage or they take damage, it's the same sound effect. I hate that. Sometimes when punching an enemy, I hear the sound and I assume I also took a hit, so I have to check the life bar. Using the same audio cue for both really messes with my brain. The music loop is short and it will drive you crazy. I know this is common for these old games, but this one in particular kinda numbs your brain. Something about this game must have really resonated because half a decade later it came to America on Game Boy and was just titled Godzilla. The Godzilla and cutesy stuff was totally removed, except for the cute sprites, but otherwise it's the same game, right down to the same goddamn problems. Rodan coming from below, Hedorah getting in the way. It's actually amazing how sane these games are, the only major difference being the puzzle rooms themselves were changed. Oh, and no blood. Maybe you need to hit ABACABB. But in Japan, instead of this version of the game, they got Godzilla-kun Great Monster March. It's the same game, but this one was themed to look like the serialized manga called SD Godzilla World, Godzilla-kun, which itself is sort of a spin-off of Godzillaland. So we've gone full circle. But the Japanese version also fixes so many issues with this game. The enemy patterns were fixed to be more fair, you can move faster, it brought back the atomic breath power-up, which is oddly missing in the American version. Bottom line, there are 3 different versions of this goddamn rock-smashing maze puzzle game. And you know what? I'd be down for a 4th. 2.5 stars! Moving over to Monsters Fair, which came out in 1986 and technically isn't a Godzilla video game, but a Mothra video game. This sleeve art is way better than it has any right to be. Seriously, it's so goddamn epic. I'd blow it up and hang it on my wall as a poster. In this game, the peaceful infant island is attacked by Alien X, who kidnap the Shobijin twins and plan to use their power to conquer the Earth. The islanders pray for Mothra to save the twins, but Alien X is mind-controlling the other monsters to attack her. In the book for this game, the monsters are again represented by Godzillaland art, and the sprites themselves can be considered Godzillaland-ish. So, is this another Godzillaland video game? I'll leave that for you to decide. Okay, Monsters Fair, let's go. Whoa! Right out of the gate, Gozora's charging at me. And for whatever reason, Gozora can respawn 3 fucking times. That's a major pain. No, fuck this. Run, 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 run. Dead. I'm making a run for it. Run, 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 run. Dead. Mothra looks like a little shrimp when she dies. I know this because I've died a lot. Because this game is hard as fucking hell. You get 3 lives, and it's astonishing how fast they go. Hedorah is in the ocean tossing shit at you and can hit you from virtually anywhere you go on the screen. But if you've got 3 Gozoras charging at you, you're focused on that while Hedorah's kicking your ass. And what really sucks is that your attacks as Mothra have no fucking distance. I can't hit people from across the screen like they can do to me. Monsters fair? More like monsters unfair. Godzilla's usually hanging around 2 Manillas. Can you fucking imagine that? 2 Manillas?
Godzilla says we should fight our own battles.
Oh my fucking god. Godzilla can charge you diagonally and uses atomic breath. This game is so brutal. Why is this game so brutal? Sometimes when you shoot a random spot, you unveil a hidden power-up to get your life meter recharged. But why is it hidden? You didn't need to hide it. Why? The game's not impossible, but the only way through is to basically memorize the board, memorize the location of every monster, and memorize where these power-ups are. And then slowly progress upwards, knocking out each enemy one by one. And even then, it's still hard as hell. And on top of all this, there's this section with these mystery gates where the board will keep repeating if you don't do it right. Oh, these MSX games love their fucking puzzles! God damn it, my Mothra just keeps dying, so at least it's an accurate movie adaptation. I can't even make it that far, so I gotta jack footage from other channels to show you adult Mothra. Yeah, you eventually get to be adult Mothra, and fly over the ocean and through cities. That looks fun, I wanna do that! That's when you see other monsters like, is that Mechagodzilla? Again, it looks good. And King Ghidorah actually looks better here than he does in 3 Giant Monsters. And what's your reward if you actually survive this gauntlet? Thank you, Mothra. That's it. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. It wasn't a problem at all. Don't sweat it. You two better kiss my ass the rest of my days. Instead of singing the Mothra song, I want to hear some Weezer out of you two. And make sure it's early Pinkerton Weezer.
1.5 stars.
Out of these 3 games, I've got to say my favorite is 3 Giant Monsters. Godzilla-kun could have been number 1 with some tweaks, but it's a bit too rough around the edges. And Monsters Fair? Well, just fuck Monsters Fair. More like Monsters Fart. Did I really finish reviewing the MSX trilogy before I finished reviewing the Pipeworks trilogy? Yes. Yes, I did. MIB here with a collecting tip from our sponsor, Buy.jp, the service I use to make purchases from shops and websites in Japan. I've been collecting these little Lit Goji egg keychains that were out of Japan in the 1990s, but I've been having a hard time finding the Dorats. Then I saw this eBay auction, shipping from Japan for $92. Like I usually do, I checked Buy, and sure enough, I found the exact same auction for just 11 bucks. Even with fees and shipping, it was still way less than $92. If you want to collect smart, always check Buy.jp, because this has happened more than a few times now. In the long run, if you play it smart, Buy can save you a lot of money. In fact, they'll give you free money for starting a new account if you use the link in my description. Be a smart collector and sign up for Buy.jp today. Here's a shock. There's a lot of memes dedicated to Godzilla, with some even growing so popular they've become inescapable. I'm gonna go over a few of the biggest Godzilla-related memes and provide the context from which they rose to fame. Are you ready? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Have you ever defended the Star Wars sequels and gotten this reply? Probably from me. You know it's bad when even Godzilla nopes out of here, flipping you off in the process. But don't worry, it's not your god-awful taste Godzilla's walking away from. This 3-panel noping Godzilla comes from the mega-popular comic and game site The Oatmeal, in the comic titled The Terrible and Wonderful Reasons Why I Run Long Distances. The Oatmeal launched in 2009 and is made by cartoonist Matthew Inman. Inman often uses the site to share humorous stories, provide spelling and grammar tips, or share personal feelings. In the case of Reasons Why I Run Long Distances, Inman shares the many ups and downs of his experience as a long-distance runner. Part 5, titled The Agony, recounts a run he had in Japan where he was running up the side of a mountain. On his way down the hill, he encountered a bamboo forest that was home to the Japanese giant hornets, the most lethal animal in the country. To accent this point, the comic jumps to a hypothetical situation where Godzilla plans to come ashore, but sees a nest of giant hornets and nopes right back out into the ocean. Eventually, the last 3 panels here escaped the oatmeal and became a reactionary meme with their own life. This is not Godzilla's only appearance on the oatmeal. He can also be seen closing the classic comic, How to Use a Semicolon, the most feared punctuation on Earth. Fun fact, I have this comic as a signed poster. Whoa! Can you believe it originated on the oatmeal? This image of SH Monster Arts Godzilla, Gamera, and Mechagodzilla figures at a computer gets passed around a lot, often with captions running over it. The picture originated around 2015 on the TUMBLR Gigablog. There you'll find tons of humorous photos like Godzilla roasting a marshmallow, Godzilla fishing, Godzilla walking a dog, Godzilla hanging with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Godzilla playing instruments with Gamera. And it's not all Godzilla stuff, there are a ton of hilarious pics with Star Wars toys, Marvel toys, etc, etc, etc. Looks like one of the photographer's pictures escaped the collection to launch a career of its own. If there's anything that makes for good meme material, it's photos of the Godzilla movie costumes in contexts outside of what made it into the movies, such as the case with this 1989 photo of a Godzilla costume resting in a wheelbarrow, probably being transported to or from the set of Godzilla vs. Biollante. And according to Know Your Meme, this photo was featured in a Gizmodo article on August 29, 2012, titled Behind the Scenes, Godzilla Photos Were Charming, Absolutely Ridiculous. Years later, in May of 2019, the photo was uploaded to iFunny by Titanus Mosada, with the added caption, Godzilla had a stroke trying to read this and fucking died. From there, this version spread on Reddit as a reactionary post to incoherent rants, indecipherable gibberish, and conspiracy theorists doing their mental gymnastics. Oh, that wasn't very cash money of you. Who better to judge what's considered cash money than a Godzilla in sunglasses? The origin of this image is fascinating. It comes from episode 19 of Stop Hibari-kun, a 35-episode anime series that ran from 1983 to 1984, made by Toei Animation. The anime is an adaptation of a serialized manga of the same name that ran from 1981 to 1983. The story is a romantic comedy centered around a high school student who has to live with a Yakuza boss with his 4 children. The titular character Hibari is one of those children, and although Hibari is assigned male at birth, the character looks and behaves like a female and prefers to be referred to as such. The Godzilla appearance in episode 19 is fleeting. I would show it to you, but we know how Toei feels about us enjoying their things. In the scene, a character has a quick fit of rage and breathes fire on another character in the car. I'd say what he does is actually the opposite of cash money if we're being honest. The whole thing lasts like just a second, with the meme image being literally a frame. The phrase "that wasn't very cash money of you" was originally attached to the character Sayaka Miki from the 2011 anime series Puella Magi, Mariko Magica. The joke then evolved that any character could say the line as long as they had a pair of sunglasses on. This includes my dog Andy. It was around September 2018 that a Godzilla version of this meme began spreading around the dank meme subreddit. The fact that somebody pulled this fleeting frame from a decades-old rom-com anime is pretty cash, you know. The 2019 film Godzilla King of the Monsters finally gave us a Western interpretation of King Ghidorah on the big screen. I think King Ghidorah is one of the best features of the entire movie. In the movie, the 3 heads, while linked, express independent personalities. Short interactions during the film seem to present the middle head as the leader, and the left head as, well, I'd say subservient, but others went with lovably dumb. On June 2nd, 2019, Reddit user RWT1998 posted this image in the Godzilla Reddit with the title, "Who else named the left head Kevin?" That same day, Michael J. Larson posted this image on DeviantArt titled King Ghidorah in a Nutshell. On June 5th, 2019, when asked on Twitter about the heads having individual names, director Michael Dougherty revealed the middle head is named Ikki, the right head is Ni, and the left head is named San, and also Kevin, thus solidifying the nickname as official canon. Richard Dorton, who did the motion caption work for the Kevin head, has embraced the name. He even shared Larson's art, helping to make it the quintessential Kevin fan art. Shortly after, the art was turned into a meme template titled The Three-Headed Dragon, with the Kevin head representing the most foolish of a grouping. It had become arguably the most widely recognized meme to spawn from the Monsterverse. Did I miss a popular Godzilla meme? Well, don't link it in the comment section below because it'll get auto-filtered into the spam. That's it, bye!
This video is sponsored by...
Are you in trouble? Do you need some help getting off? Then call now to hear hot, horny girls give you legal advice. If you're in danger with the law, call 1-800-Klondike-5-GET-YOU-OFF. They provide 24-hour consultation on everything from white-collar federal offenses to local misdemeanors. And you'll hear it all from hot, horny girls. $12 the first minute, $25 each additional, but you'll only need that first minute. I'm legally obligated to mention that you can't actually see the hot girls, and though they are horny, it's not for you. Oh, I know what you're thinking. It's been over a year since the last Top 5 show. Well, I haven't been uploading, but I have been making them. It's just, my co-host has been difficult to work with lately. Well, here's one clip from the unaired Top 5 Overpriced Godzilla Items. Please welcome to the show my co-host, Clickbait.
Did you see what I did? I got it to my nose.
I told you to stop coming to work drunk.
They don't know what I would do if I didn't have this job. Because you're my best friend.
You keep doing this! You look for literally any reason to drink!
I'll drink to that. Boop.
I didn't get to air that countdown, but if you're wondering what the top overpriced Godzilla items are, it's all of them. It's all of them. Here's a clip from the unaired episode, Top 5 Times Godzilla Queefed on Camera. Please welcome my co-host, Clickbait! Clickbait, are you drunk again?
Oh my god, no. I'm not. I'm good.
Oh, now you're high.
You like me.
Anyway, let's try this. Please God, welcome to the show, Clickbait.
What? You want me to do this thing?
Yes!
Well, then you know what you have to do.
What?
You know what you did. And if you don't know what you did, then it's even worse.
What did I do?
I'm not gonna tell you because you should know.
Alright, well, the boomer viewers are getting impatient, so let's start the show.
I told you we're not doing this until you apologize. You disgust me.
I'm sorry for upsetting you. Now let's start the show.
You don't even know why you're sorry.
My viewers are dropping like flies! They take toys of radioactive dinosaurs very seriously! We need to start!
What are you sorry for?
I'm sorry for airing the drunken high footage of you when I promised not to.
Nope.
I'm sorry for crying so much. In general.
Nope.
I'm sorry I drank your bathwater.
What? No.
Oh god, I'm gonna start crying now! You've done it! Can we please just start the show?
Fine. I'll do the countdown, but just know it's not for you. You're in the doghouse, okay? I'm doing it for the viewers.
Okay. And greetings everyone that skipped to this time code. Jerks! These days there is an absolute abundance of Godzilla merchandise in the world. It's truly incredible how much there is as of this video, even if it's not Star Wars levels of merchandise. But it all had to start somewhere. I'm gonna be doing just a general overview of the very first Godzilla merchandise ever in the world, with a focus more on toys and games. There are a lot of resources and acknowledgements for a video like this. For example, this 1992 Japanese book titled Godzilla Toy Museum. In here you'll find this image of a gun pointed into Godzilla's mouth. This gun fired wooden arrows with rubber suction cups on them. As you might guess from this art, this was released in Japan around the time Godzilla Raids Again premiered there in 1955. And this appears to be the very first licensed Godzilla toy ever made. A gun. That looks like the one Jack Nicholson pulled out of his pants in Batman. And that was it! For 8 years! Until... Clickbait.
5.
Founded in 1907, Ideal would become the largest doll-making company in the United States during the post-World War II baby boom. They gave us Patty Playpal and Betsy Wetsy. What more do you need to know? In 1962, Godzilla returned to US movie theaters for his third outing, King Kong vs. Godzilla. And in 1963, Ideal gave us the board game, Godzilla Game. Yes, one of the earliest pieces of official Godzilla merch is American. Godzilla Game features this game board with illustrations of the Big G, and I have to believe this is New York City he's attacking in 1963. It would make sense as Ideal was located in Hollis, Queens at the time. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the similar King Kong game, also put out that year by Ideal. This art is more inspired by his original 1933 appearance, and he is definitely in New York, but he is also giant size, much closer to the size he is in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Fun fact, Ideal's biggest claim to fame would come in 1980 when they licensed and sold the Rubik's Cube. And what's interesting is that the next entry on this countdown, one that really got the merch train going, is also an American release.
4.
This next entry isn't just also American, but also New York based, and it might be the most iconic piece of Godzilla merch ever made. Aurora Plastics Corporation is a toy and hobby manufacturer founded in 1950, but they made some big strides in the 1960s. This is when they acquired a license from Universal Studios to create a line of models based off of their famous movie monsters. In the early 1960s, they provided kits for Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Wolfman, all the classics. Then in 1964, they added some giant monsters into the mix. They licensed RPO Pictures' King Kong and Toho's Godzilla. Kits like the Godzilla kit here would often be re-released. In this case, a glow-in-the-dark version debuted in 1969. Godzilla would also be one of the monsters to get a go-kart in 1966. Sometime later, in 1975, Rodan and King Ghidorah would receive their own model kits from Aurora. But going back to this original Godzilla kit in 1964, its success is what kicked off a tremendous domino effect in Godzilla merch, the effects of which we're still feeling today. You see, over in Japan, a toy company called Marusan took the Aurora Godzilla design, made some slight modifications, and released it as a model kit on that side of the ocean. And as monsters became bigger pop culture hits in the mid-1960s, things were about to really heat up.
3.
In 1966, for the first time ever, Marusan began releasing soft vinyl toys of monster properties. This included characters from the new Ultra shows, and monsters from Toho movies as well, including Baragon, Mothra, Gorosaurus, Ibra, and Godzilla. And as you can see, the Aurora model's influence is still present here in the first Godzilla soft vinyl toy ever made. Godzilla also got to join Ultra characters in this line of cute toys and banks. More characters would soon follow, and Marusan would also begin releasing tin toys, wire control toys. Japanese Godzilla collectors were finally getting options. Marusan the company bankrupted in 1968. But out of the ashes of that came new companies, one called Bullmark. Bullmark would then re-release molds, add characters, and they too would attempt to expand to other types of toys. But Bullmark was not without its competition.
2.
Poppy is a Japanese toy manufacturer founded in 1971, and their big success was releasing die-cast metal robot toys, referred to as Chogokin, a term that originated in Mazinger Z. But over at Bullmark, as the monster fad began to decline, so too did their sales. So Bullmark took a page from the Poppy book and released die-cast toys of their licenses. And that's why we have these incredible half-robot missile-firing kaiju toys. But these toys failed to match the success of the Poppy toys, and by 1978, Bullmark was facing bankruptcy. So who nabbed the Godzilla license next? Poppy! Poppy, of course! Before we move on to number 1, just some items worth a quick mention. Back Back in 1965, King Kong trading cards with comical word balloons were released in America. A handful of these cards would include Godzilla as well. In the early 1970s, as Godzilla's audience grew younger, Toho would begin packaging their Godzilla movies with cartoons and such for children. It's here that Asahi Sonorama began releasing records and books with original artwork, that cool kaiju anatomy, and new monster mashups. And we're not even getting into the manga right now, but yeah, manga. But let's get back to our timeline with the number 1 entry. Clickbait.
1. Yeah. 1. Yeah, we can stay on 1 all day long. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1.
In the late 1970s, after acquiring the Godzilla license, Poppy released the Jumbosaurus, one of the most sought-after Godzilla collectibles to this day. Let's take a closer look at this beast. First, a quick size comparison. Make no mistake, this Godzilla was indeed jumbo. He's got a little bit of articulation. He's got wheels on his feet for easy movement. He fires his fist! I guess at this point, this was a function kids just expected from their toys. And he's got this pull string, which provides the famous Godzilla roar. Even now, holding a Jumbosaurus, it gives off the impression of a good, well-made toy. And here's where our timeline is going to end in Japan for today's purposes, but what's going on back at the States? Enter Mattel. In the late 1970s, even Mattel was trying to capitalize on the success of Shogun Warriors, importing many of these figures in different sizes to sell in the States. This line lasted a few years, but toward the end, Godzilla was added to the lineup. While similar, the Shogun Godzilla toy has some head-scratching differences from its Jumbosaurus counterpart, chief being the different, less screen-accurate head sculpt. Like, what happened here? Gone is the roar function, but instead there's a red lever which makes him either stick out his tongue or spit fire. Honestly, I don't think even Mattel knew which of the two functions this was meant to be.
You control Godzilla's ugly tongue.
Imagine his breath is a blast of fire.
But hey, at least it still fires his fist. And this is also the time where both Shogun Warriors and Godzilla began appearing in Marvel Comics. Back at Mattel in 1978, they would license molds from Poppy to create the very first American Godzilla toy line, Godzilla's Gang. You may have noticed something a little bit off about his gang. Yeah, except for Godzilla, every monster in this line is a Tsuburaya-owned Ultra Monster. Real quick, something I actually really like about this toy line, though, is how each figure has a unique footprint. That's a really nice touch. In 1979, Rodan would join the Shogun Warriors toy line, although instead of being labeled as a Shogun Warrior, he was labeled as World's Greatest Monsters. This Rodan toy is huge, with a wingspan of over 38 inches. He's got great neck articulation and a lever for his mouth. He's got finger holes for grips, and rubber bands to help him mimic a wing flapping motion. And he's got claws of doom. Around this time period is also when Mattel released Godzilla Game, a really fun game in which you take turns moving your ships while at any moment, Godzilla himself can pop out and snag one. And you might have noticed this game has the exact same name as the Godzilla board game that kicked off this list. Godzilla Game. Not even a the. There's more. There's so much more. There's the infamous 1978 Ben Cooper Halloween costume. 1978 is also the year of Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla cartoon, and that too brought some merch, including puffy stickers and these stuffed toys from Knickerbocker. Around here is when Viewmaster starts using Godzilla. HG Toys acquired the license to Godzilla and put out puzzles and a playset. Speaking of puzzles, let's not forget Godzilla King of the Creatures. There's just too much to possibly cover in one video at this point. Suffice to say that in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Godzilla merchandise floodgates were finally opening, and it was a good time to be a fan. All of this was just a quick summary, but there are numerous great books and blogs by people who enjoyed these toys in their youth and give a more thorough first-hand account of their experiences with them. I hope you check them out, and I hope you share your own memories of Godzilla merch in the comments below, whether we covered them today or not.
So we went through this whole thing, and you still don't know what you did?
Can you please just tell me?
You didn't like my post! How could you not like my post? I like all of your stuff. Every single day. And your stuff isn't even good.
This was all about an Instagram post?
We're supposed to be friends. You know, like friends like each other's posts. You know, and I thought that our friendship was more than that. Like, I thought that we were there for each other. I thought that we supported each other. I thought that we, no matter what, we're gonna go in and make sure that we were there for each other. And you didn't do that. And it really hurt my feelings.
Oh, CB, I feel the same. I never try to disrespect you. Truth be told, you're the only other person I have on this channel. And I have to pay you to be here. But we've done so many top 5s together now, and I want you to know you really, really mean a lot to me. And I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. You know? It's like, just like my post, okay?
Okay. All right, I'll like this picture of, what is that, dog shit? Blurry dog shit? Anyways, I liked it. Are we still friends?
Yeah, we're friends.
This is good. I feel this is good. I feel like you and me are going to be doing this show together for a long time. Who the fuck is Hero Zero? Man, I wish this was an easy answer. I thought this would be a quick video to make, since it's based on a one-shot comic book, Godzilla vs. Hero Zero. But then, like Alice chasing the White Rabbit, I fell into a deep hole that led to a world of confusion and madness. Dark Horse in the early 1990s. They were holding their own against Marvel and DC in the comic book stores. But while those two companies focused on superheroes, Dark Horse was more focused on things like creator-owned independent comics and licensed properties, like Godzilla. But in 1993, Dark Horse took a shot at launching their own superhero titles, and that brings me to Comics' Greatest World. That's what Dark Horse called their superhero universe. Rather than launch with all independent character storylines, Dark Horse launched Comics' Greatest World with an interconnected event, spanning 4 key locations: Golden City, Arcadia, Steel Harbor, and Vortex. And instead of issues, each city had 4 weeks. So Arcadia City Week 1 might be one hero, but then Week 2, oh fuck off! This is a pain in the ass! And you know what? Future generations will have to deal with this when they're trying to figure out the MCU. Think about that. Look at these new characters. I mean, you have X, who's pretty awesome looking, but then what's with this guy's outfit? What is that, a cutout? Where's Hero Zero? Here he is. Vortex Week 2. Hero Zero. David McRae is a high school freshman. He can hear a voice no one else can hear. This voice, named Zero, often wakes him up and has him sneak out of his bedroom window so his parents won't learn his secret. Check it out, he's got a Godzilla toy and a poster for Godzilla vs. Barkley. But we know Godzilla is going to exist in David's universe, so this is kind of like if Godzilla was real in our world and Dark Horse still published Godzilla vs. Barkley. Anyway, David says his transformation phrase, the very creative, do it Zero. Now he's a giant-sized superhero. Check out his outfit. He looks like someone went to one of those make a superhero generator apps and just hit randomize. He's got Iron Man's face, which will probably jump out at you the most. Then he's got these steel plates that are kind of shaped like basketball shorts and a jersey. And if this were any more 1990s, he'd be holding a comically large gun. Also, his name is Hero Zero. His emblem is just the no sign. Like no smoking, no anything. Zero anything allowed. What's Hero Zero's origin? Was he bitten by a radioactive spider? Is he a super strong alien sent here from an exploding planet? Is his origin that an alien scientist conducted an experiment in the Nevada desert, resulting in accidentally opening a vortex in which he got sucked in, and then 40 years later a group of other aliens came and opened the vortex to pull out the alien scientist to kill him, but now he has the powers of the vortex, and he kills the aliens and reclaims his alien lab from the US military. And then somehow, a piece of Vortex's technology winds up on a 13-year-old, which can link him into Vortex's computer and also turn David into the 100-foot-tall superhero, Hero Zero. Hero Zero didn't get any ongoing series or even a limited series. He did get this one-shot, Hero Zero, Issue Zero. There's a cool nod to Ultraman right here. And then David name drops Godzilla and Mothra. Which ones? Do the Showa movies exist in this universe where Godzilla also exists? Or is he talking about his real Godzilla, in which case did Dark Horse sneak a Mothra into their universe? Oh, that's a good stretch. Hero Zero pops up here and he pops up there, but whatever, let's get to the main event. Godzilla versus Hero Zero. It starts with a ship in the ocean picking up something big on the sonar. It gears you up to be Godzilla, but it's Hero Zero messing around with his powers. David's a goof. He's a very Peter Parker type. He even gets the responsibility spiel. He even has his own Flash Thompson in another comic. He leaves to go to a comic book convention, and Godzilla surfaces. He destroys the boats we just saw. All those guys are dead now. David goes to the San Diego Comic-Con, where he's wearing a shirt of The Mask, another Dark Horse character who Hero Zero will also eventually meet. What are the rules, Dark Horse? The Comic-Con is filled with meta-references to Dark Horse properties. David meets up with his cool dad, Mr. McRae, and Billy, a friend of David who fucks up right out of the gate by calling his dad Mr. McCrae. God damn it, Billy. Proofread your talking. They go to meet Art Adams, who is a very well-known Dark Horse Godzilla artist. In fact, he even did the cover of the very comic David exists in. Godzilla's fucking up planes left and right, and he's making his way to SDCC to catch the screening of Kevin Smith's Clerks. David runs off to do it, Zero, and he faces off against Godzilla. And here's where I want to remind you that the real Peter Parker, Spider-Man, shared one official comic book panel with Godzilla. Enjoy your time with the Big G, Hero Zero. You've earned it. Ugh. You'd think, especially with the dumb teenage quipping, this would be a lighthearted battle, but they make it clear that Godzilla's doing some real damage and people are dying. In fact, it actually weighs on David that the battle is doing so much damage. Hero Zero does another round with Godzilla. This time, a piece of debris smashes a bus. Hero Zero opens it to see his dad, and then he shouts, "Dad!" blowing his secret identity. But more important, he finds that his friend Billy is crushed and now dead. Holy shit. Now David has his own Gwen Stacy. I bet he went home and tore down that Godzilla poster that night, eh? Well, David's taking it personally, as you could see. This is a decent fight. It certainly feels more intense than the fights Godzilla's had in Marvel Comics. David gets a Deus Ex power boost from Zero, so he could scoop up Godzilla and dump him back in the ocean somewhere. His powers deplete, causing David to revert back and fall into the ocean as well. And if they killed him, right here, I would give this comic 5 stars. That's fucking storytelling. But nah, there's one more page, with David waking up next to his father. Even though he saved countless lives, David feels tremendous guilt. And the last panel of the comic has David saying, "I don't want to be Hero Zero anymore." So maybe this was supposed to be the character's swan song. Or maybe this was setting something else up? Either way, it might as well have never happened, because it's completely ignored in Hero Zero's next comic book appearance. By the way, at this point, comics' greatest world is dead. Now we're Dark Horse heroes. The Mask, World Tour issue 1 of 4. David gets summoned by Zero, sneaks out the bedroom window again. Nothing's changed! Also, why does Hero Zero not recognize the Mask? The Mask gets into David's armor and tickles him until he passes out, and that's it for Hero Zero in this 4-issue miniseries. Maybe in comic books as a whole, I don't know. Back to our comic. This is without a doubt the most entertaining appearance of Hero Zero, and I have almost all of the appearances of Hero Zero.
3.5 stars.
The fights are not bad at all. Despite my jokes, I do enjoy meta-comic references, so that was nice to see here. And it was cool to see a Godzilla fight with real consequences. I've always respected how Dark Horse made Godzilla feel extra dangerous and threatening. This fight was so intense that even though the hero technically won, he decided to quit right after. Maybe. Also, who the fuck is Hero Zero? I researched this video because the internet's got nothing on him, so I had to buy all these goddamn Dark Horse back issues. And I still feel like I don't know who he was. I don't know who currently owns Hero Zero, but I will write you an amazing modern-day deconstruction story of the character. Here's my pitch. It's been over 25 years since David transformed, and he's taking heavy medications to drown out the voice in his head. He truly has become a zero. Out of work, down on his luck, the dames aren't interested. But then, he's forced to make an important choice. Will he continue to be a zero, or will he be a hero? And then it goes, Hero Zero logo. Don't miss. It says miss the premiere date, but it's in the don't sign. Like, don't miss the premiere date. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, there are many ways to support the channel. The easiest is to just subscribe and hit the notification bell. That's a big help. There's a Patreon, which gives you access to the MIB Discord server and other goodies. And I was invited to join Cameo, so if you want me to shoot you or someone a shout out, you can find me there. There's also a merch store on ZAZZLE and more plushie toys coming soon from Gimme Swag, including Clickbait. And last, there's our ongoing affiliation with Buy.jp. I talk about it a lot because it is an amazing service. I use it all the time to shop from Japanese stores and bid on Japanese auctions. Buy handles the language barriers, the currency exchange, and they get me my goodies from Japan. If you sign up using the link in my description, it supports the channel. And you instantly get 2,000 yen to start your shopping. Even if you don't use the service, make a free account and hook a brother up. But you should use the service. Thanks for sitting through these announcements, because you're totally dead, right? And enjoy the show. Oh, whoa. Orga's in the house, and guess who is celebrating his 50th anniversary in 2023? Besides Megalon. Besides Jet. It's Zone Fighter! I'm talking about Zone Fighter! Also known as Meteor Man Zone, Zone Fighter was a 1973 Japanese TV series that ran for 26 episodes. It was produced by Toho, and Zone Fighter had to compete with the likes of Ultraman Taro and Jumborg Ace. But Zone Fighter had something all of these shows did not have, a direct connection to a larger cinematic universe. Yeah, decades before Monarch Legacy of Monsters, Zone Fighter was bringing the cinematic world of Godzilla to the small screen. And significant things happened over the course of this TV series, things that had a major impact on overall Godzilla lore at the time. In my opinion, Zone Fighter is just as important as any Showa-era Godzilla movie, yet He's often dismissed by Godzilla fans and virtually ignored by Toho. In this TED Talks, I'll reveal why you shouldn't sleep on this show and why we should all celebrate Zone Fighter's 50th anniversary. Because if I don't, he's going to kill me.
Keep talking, Olga. Tell the world about May.
When is Zone Fighter? Zone Fighter takes place right in between the events of Godzilla vs. Megalon and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. And it is canon to the Showa-era Godzilla timeline.
Good. Next section.
What is Zone Fighter? Picture the origin of Superman, but instead of a baby escaping an exploding planet in a pod and arriving on Earth vowing to protect it, this is 3 generations of family escaping an exploding planet in a pod and arriving on Earth vowing to protect it. Yeah, so it goes like this. In space, there's this evil alien species called Garoga, and they're from the planet Garoga. They come in different colors. There's red Garoga, white Garoga. Their leader is the Golden Baron Garoga. Now, there's another planet called Peaceland. Peaceland? Really?
It's not what you think. Peace means something different to my race.
Oh, what does it mean?
Absence of war, total harmony, no conflict.
That's what it means on Earth!
Then why do I keep hearing humans using it wrong by saying shit like, I want a piece of pizza. Give me a piece of that ass. It makes no sense.
Oh my god.
Racist pieces.
The Garogas declared war on Peaceland and they just blew it up. But before it was blown up, some Peacelandian families escaped in capsules in search of sanctuary. One of these capsules landed on Earth. And thank God Peacelandians look exactly like Japanese humans because the capsule landed in Japan. But now the Garoga want to conquer Earth. And it's made a little easier for them because they can shapeshift into human form. The giveaway is that their hands remained webbed, but only on close-ups. And that's what the show is about. This Peacelandian family using all the tech and proton powers at their disposal to stop the Garoga's evil schemes and protect the planet.
Speaking of protons, the atomic structure of my people is different than yours. Here, I'll draw an atom from planet Peaceland. Check it out, it's microscopic.
I don't see anything.
I just said it's microscopic! Atoms are teeny tiny, you moron!
Who is Zone Fighter? There's Hikaru, a teenage race car driver.
Oh, so handsome. Look at his long flowing hair.
He becomes Zone Fighter. Hataro, his sister, who recently turned 16. She becomes Zone Angel. And Akira, their 7-year-old brother. He becomes Zone Junior. And their parents, an inventor named Yoichiro, and his wife Tsukiko. And last, the wise elder known as Zone Great. There's also this guy, Takeru, who's a human who pops up in a lot of the series as the family's friend, although he doesn't know their secret. He's probably my least favorite character. I'm going to ignore him today. The Zone family has a secret room with a lab/communication station.
We communicate through these little Zobots. You leave a message in one, and then it flies to the person the message is for.
You're telling me that in the 1970s, nobody could imagine a form of instant communication? No brain could conjure up something like a cell phone?
Russe missile might! Ah!
When there's trouble, the 3 Zone kids transform to their hero forms. And they can fight, and sometimes they have weapons. But when there's a giant monster attacking, Zone Fighter takes to his giant form, and he can unleash any number of special attacks.
Watch this special attack. Russe Zone Punch!
Ow! Don't do it to me! Zone Fighter has a car named the Mighty Liner. This is a regular car that can transform into a supercar that can fly and basically do anything. On a bit of a personal note, I'm kind of obsessed with the Mighty Liner. I'm not even a car guy, yet I have this real thing with fictional cars, and the Mighty Liner is like my favorite one.
You want to take it for a spin?
Really?
No, not really. Ha 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 ha!
Oh.
Russe Orga disappoint!
That one hurt the most. There's also Smokey, a flying ship that parks in the clouds. When it's summoned, Angel and Junior can jump up, all the way up into it. In Smokey, they offer Zone Fighter support. Sometimes Zone Fighter's power is dangerously low, and his siblings use Smokey to switch his batteries to recharge him.
Battery low. Need a recharge, Orga.
No, piss off.
Oh.
I'm free! On the Garoga side, they operate out of this awesome space station. Here, they fire Terror Beast missiles to Earth. Sometimes the missiles land and explode and unleash a giant monster. Sometimes they explode in the air and unleash a giant monster who parachutes down. Even Gigan, who can fly, used parachutes. And let me tell you some other dumb things about the Terror Beasts.
Alright then, let's hear it!
Ah! Terror Beasts! I thought you guys were dead! Oh, that explains that.
Wait, did you say I'm gonna die?
When you think about Toho monsters, you've got some well-known guys like Megalon, Mechagodzilla, the Smog Monster, but in this universe, there are like 28 more monsters to add to this roster, and they have some pretty unique costume designs. My personal favorites are Spideros, and I'm not just saying that because he's breathing down my neck. I like Garoborg, Destro King, Jakiro, Zandora, and if you thought Gigan looked like a chicken, wait until you see Barakodon. What'd you say about me being a chicken? Gigan? I thought you were in space! You called me a chicken, Orga. I'm gonna remember that forever. So let's talk about the connection to the Godzilla films. Somewhere along the line, Zone Fighter became friends with Godzilla. The Big G appears in 5 episodes of the show. The two heroes take down multiple Terror Beasts together. Godzilla even has this cave with mechanical doors that he came running out of once. Does Godzilla have his own tech lab? What's in there? This never gets an explanation. There's an episode where Zone Fighter fights Godzilla. Well, it's more like a playful practice. Zone Fighter even uses his powerful meteor windmill move on Godzilla. Godzilla deflects it, although I'm not sure if that was a coordinated practice thing. Gigan appears once. He has a great one-on-one fight with Godzilla. Godzilla wins, but Gigan awakens to have a one-on-one with Zone Fighter. During this fight, Zone Fighter kills Gigan. He kills Gigan. He's not merciful like Godzilla. Don't let that smile fool you. Wait, I die? And that's why Gigan never reappears in any show or Godzilla movies, because he's dead. And apparently, Gigans foam out the mouth when you kill them. But I'm not dead, you guys. I'm right here. That was my stunt double who died. Yeah, my stunt double is... King Ghidorah showed up in a 2-part story, and in my opinion, they are the best 2 episodes in the series, or at least they're up there. In this story, the Garogas send King Ghidorah to Earth, and Ghidorah is not being a dopey parachuting terror beast. This show takes him seriously. He's a real threat. He's intimidating. Zone Fighter fights him alone. Even Godzilla's never done that. To defeat King Ghidorah, the Zone family had to make some real sacrifices. As a whole, there are things about this show that are legitimately good, and there are things that are objectively schlock, but I love schlock, so it's still a win. Like Godzilla's suit is in bad shape. Things are inconsistent. And it's one of those shows where they just make up whatever abilities. One time, Zone Fighter saw a monster attack on TV, so he jumped into the TV to fight the monster. They didn't have to write it that way, but they did. But I truly love a lot of the designs, the costumes. They're mostly not extraordinary, but they're cool. I love the score to the series. The fights are a lot of fun in that playful Showa-era Godzilla movie kind of way. The show ended with no resolution, so we don't know what happened with the Garoga and the Zone family. Why didn't the Zone family show up and destroy all monsters? Did the Garoga kill them before 1999? The Garoga are shapeshifters. Are they hiding amongst the human characters we've seen in subsequent films? There's so much more to know about Zone Fighter. The Garogas have a car too. In Zone Fighter manga, other classic monsters cameoed, like Kamacuras, Kumanga, and Manila holding a flag of Japan. There's a lot to this show, and these are all the conversations I think we should be having more. But how can you watch Zone Fighter with subtitles? Maybe the Godzilla YouTube channel will start running them. For now, I would never recommend you look at the Internet Archive.
4 stars!
I hope you don't mind I switched this guy's batteries, you guys. Oh no!
Leaping across galaxies, dashing through space. Did you tell him I'm awesome?
Yes.
Cool. Oh, hey guys, you know I directed an episode of a daytime soap opera once. I even hired these twats for my crew.
Are you making a reference to Monster Island Buddies episode 10?
We worked on a soap opera called Drama Monsters.
Are we done here?
Put on a porno.
Why?
Put on a porno.
Fine.
I'll see you guys later.
Oh, here I am. Oh, yeah, that's Bone Fighter for you, mate. Oh.
on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. As of March 2023, there are 2,751 stars. And so far, only 20 of those stars are for fictional characters. 23 if you count live-action dogs. But not counting those dogs, the first fictional character to get a star was Mickey Mouse on November 13th, 1978. Since then, stars have gone to characters like Bugs Bunny, The Simpsons, Shrek, and Snoopy. On November 29th, 2004, Godzilla received a star located at 6925 Hollywood Boulevard in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater. The star was in celebration of his 50th anniversary, and it also honored his then retirement from the big screen after his new movie, Godzilla Final Wars. That same day, Godzilla himself would walk the red carpet for the world premiere of Final Wars at Grauman's Chinese Theater. Godzilla got the most of his Hollywood visit that week, as he also had a float in the Hollywood Christmas Parade. And to this day, Godzilla is the only giant monster to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Sorry, King Kong. Maybe next year. I'm Sarah, and this has been your Kaiju Quickie.
And there he is, Godzilla.
That is well animated, isn't it?
Yes, the head and the mouth and the legs and the arm, the tail, they're all animated. It makes it look like he's actually walking down the parade route.
All right, question. Is this Godzilla? This is a float from the 1991 Rose Parade made by the American Honda Motor Company. It won an animation trophy. Very cool. The only problem is that Honda didn't license Godzilla from his owner Toho. So Honda got sued for this. The lawsuit lasted over a year and involved Honda using the defense that this is not Godzilla. The defense did not work, and Toho won the lawsuit. More cases like this coming up, including a lawsuit that Toho lost. Toho protects their property vigorously, as well they should, but this zealous copyright protection, combined with a long-standing misconception that elements of Godzilla are somehow public domain, has resulted in a lot of lawsuits. In America, the Godzilla license is protected by Greenberg Glusker, a Los Angeles-based law firm. Chuck Shefford is a partner who's represented Toho since the mid-1980s, and it's right there in his web biography, policing the unauthorized use of Toho's copyrights and trademarks and, where necessary, bringing litigation to enforce those rights. One article states that Shefford has a poster in his office that reads, "If you thought Godzilla was scary, wait until you meet his lawyers." Shefford is joined by litigator Aaron Moss, and together they fight to make sure that features of Godzilla don't become considered generic, which would devalue his trademark and make it harder to enforce in the future. So where's the line? When is it copyright infringement? When is it parody? How many features do you need to remove or add to Godzilla before he's no longer legally Godzilla? I'll show you some more lawsuits where Toho wanted to protect their copyright, and I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions in the comments. We start in 1981, before Greenberg Glusker were representing Toho, with trash bags. Monstrously strong bags, to be exact. This is Bagzilla, a heavy-duty trash bag available at Sears. Bagzilla had a Godzilla-type cartoon mascot who can help you dump your mowed leaves into a bag. Toho, along with their then licensing representative Henry Saperstein, filed a lawsuit against Sears, Roebuck & Co. In the lawsuit, they state that Bagzilla depicts a comic personified reptilian creature, and they sought monetary damages and injunctive relief. This lawsuit was dismissed by a federal appeals court, ruling that the caricature was not a serious threat to Toho's business interests. The court found that Sears was merely making a pun, and that Toho failed to demonstrate how Bagzilla could cause consumer confusion with their brand. This would become a very rare loss for Toho, and the only one on this list. Just a few years later, in 1985, Paul Reubens took his character of Pee Wee Herman to the big screen for the first time ever with Pee Wee's Big Adventure. The movie focused on Pee Wee trying to find his stolen bicycle, and concludes with him recovering the bike and being chased through various Hollywood productions. During this bicycle sequence, Pee-wee is chased through a production with Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah. Why were they shooting this in Hollywood and not Japan? Because movie. This Godzilla suit was made by Cleve Hall, a special effects artist, makeup artist, and actor. Hall was a massive Godzilla fan, and it's actually him inside the costume in this movie. According to a 2008 article on Wired, the film's distributor Warner Brothers didn't know that they needed Toho's permission for this whole Godzilla sequence. They were sued, and Warner Brothers paid an undisclosed amount to Toho. The very next year, in 1986, Warner Brothers released One Crazy Summer, another comedy that also has an appearance by a Godzilla costume. I have no idea if they got sued for this one too, but I mean, this costume is all over the movie's art. Suffice to say that Warner Brothers was really convinced that Godzilla was public domain in the late 80s. But let's jump ahead to 2008, when Subway introduced a brand new bargain. For just $5 American, you can get any 12-inch sandwich. This campaign birthed one of the most annoying yet memorable jingles in my lifetime. Good Lord, make it stop. In just 1 year, revenue from $5 footlongs alone topped $3.8 billion. Still, everyone hated this campaign. Franchisees hated it because it wrecked their margins, especially as the campaign continued through inflation. I hated it because this song makes me crazy.
$5 foot long.
And Toho hated it because of this 2008 ad featuring this. You'll have to forgive this poor quality, but it appears to be a big green monster walking through a city. Toho argued that in this ad, created by the McCarthy Mombro Bertino advertising firm in Boston, Massachusetts, the monster resembled Godzilla in appearance and was in a Japanese city wildly associated with Godzilla movies. Toho filed a lawsuit against Doctors Associates, the owner of Subway. The owner of Subway is called Doctors Associates? Anyway, Toho demanded up to $150,000 in statutory damages for willful infringement and unspecified damages. Toho claimed that the Doctors Associates refused a demand to cease running the ad, as the ad played during such programs as American Idol and the NCAA basketball tournament. Eventually, Subway settled and removed this monster snippet from the ad. The very next year, in 2009, yet another commercial featured a Godzilla-type monster.
Movie, sports, explosive action, HD on-demand attraction, heartbeat pounding roller coaster. Oh.
This ad, titled Comcast Town, was created by the agency Goodby, Silverstein and Partners. The campaign launched March 2nd, 2009, and Toho launched a cease and desist based on this guy. Comcast originally agreed to pull the ad, but then they didn't. You see, Comcast promised to stop running the ad April 11th, but then kept running it through May. So Toho filed their suit August 6th, and Comcast made a statement saying they do not believe there has been any copyright infringement. They said this wasn't Godzilla. Now, you may feel that the Subway lawsuit was a bit overzealous, but this is Godzilla. Oh, he's missing a row of dorsal plates. Knock it off. That's Godzilla. And also, fuck Comcast. And while I don't have the exact details of how this particular case turned out, I don't know, that's the end of the sentence. Our next case takes us to New Orleans, the year of our Lord 2013. New Orleans Lager and Ale Brewing Co., LLC, also known as NOLA Brewing, was selling a beer called Mecha Hopzilla. The back of the can described the beer as Hop Monster. The beer also featured this mascot, a sort of cyborg-looking lizard guy. You know where this is going. Sued! Toho sued them that September, claiming the name and logo were copycats of their infamous character, Mechagodzilla. The lawsuit said that NOLA Brewing was using Mecha Hopzilla, quote, to take advantage of the goodwill and public familiarity with the Mechagodzilla character and to create an association in the minds of customers that its product is somehow affiliated with or sponsored, endorsed, or sanctioned by Toho. The brewery's attorneys argued that the branding falls under parody. But before a judge could rule on this, in 2014, the case was settled, and NOLA Brewing agreed to change the name of the beer to just Mecha. This video can go on forever, from Toho taking issue with vendors at Yankee Stadium selling inflatable Godzillas to celebrate Hideki Matsui, to Toho suing an Arizona rock band called Asshole Godzilla, to Toho suing a Napa wine called Cabzilla and forcing the winery to dump an undisclosed amount of their wine. But I mean, look, that's straight up art theft. I don't think there's a set of actual rules that dictate when you've successfully escaped plagiarizing Godzilla in your design, but instead looked at by the lawyers more on a case-by-case basis. Sort of a we'll know it when we see it deal. But what are your thoughts? When does a Godzilla design stop legally being Godzilla? Is Toho right to protect their property with such ferocity? Or is it bad public relations? Did Max Fleischer miss an opportunity to sue Toho? Sound off in the comments. Until next time. Playtime! Yay! If you were a child in the US in the 1980s or early 1990s, there's a decent chance that this is your Godzilla. This is the Imperial Godzilla action figure. It was my first ever Godzilla-related toy, and I'm not alone. This guy was everywhere, and your only real option for a Godzilla toy for quite a bit. He came from the Imperial Toy Corporation, a company that started in downtown Los Angeles on April 1st, 1969. Imperial was founded by Fred Court, a Holocaust survivor and philanthropist. Look him up, he has a truly remarkable story. And it might put all your Imperial toys into a brand new context. The Imperial Toy Company's first item was high-bouncing balls called Teeny Bouncers. Through the decades and exchanges of ownership, Imperial tended to keep things small: balls, yo-yos, die-cast cars, and vehicles. But as time went on, in an effort to secure more retail space, Imperial got into the licensing game. The Jetsons, Madballs, and more recently, Nickelodeon, Marvel, and Hello Kitty. Imperial was capitalizing on big monsters even before they received official licenses, like Hong Kong Gorilla from 1976. And in the early 1980s, a line called Dragons, Knights, and Daggers mixed in all sorts of creative beasts. And Imperial was in the dinosaur game too. Around this time period, through the rest of the 1980s and into the early 1990s, the West was being bombarded with similar molds of dinosaurs and dragons, and yes, Godzilla knockoffs from companies from China and Hong Kong. It's overwhelming. Tracking all of this is a task I'm just not ready for right now. But I'm bringing it up because back then, it really was confusing with what was official and what wasn't. So for today's video, we're gonna stick to officially licensed Imperial Godzilla releases, including this classic Godzilla figure available in 2 sizes, known for its unique mold, his silver chest spot, and the fact that he looks like he just made out with your mom. Seriously, what's with the lipstick all around his mouth? This Godzilla was around until at least 1992, and that's 7 years of being the most accessible, exciting Godzilla figure. They could be sold in retail boxes like this one in 1985, or this box here I have from 1992. Check out the art. Godzilla got hit with the Joker's laughing gas. Why is his neck so long? He looks like a turtle who lost his shell. He looks like he should be hiding in an asteroid, waiting for the Millennium Falcon. Oh, like, what is that, a tiny building he's holding? And what's this little speck on his knee? Is he standing on an endless, twinkling hardwood floor? Small guys were also available in packaging similar to this. This just feels like a waste of plastic. He looks like he's jumping over a hurdle. In the mid-1980s, Imperial had the King Kong license as well, and their Kong figures and Godzilla figures dueled each other in many childhood bedrooms, even though they just don't scale right. Maybe this is closer to accurate. Here's a real rarity. At one point in time, Imperial packaged Godzilla and Kong with Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, and they called it the Clash of the Movie Monsters. Now that's a tag team match. But it wasn't just action figures, they also had bubble-blowing Godzilla. This is one of the most unique pieces of Godzilla merch I've ever seen. Blow into his tail, and it makes a continuous stream of bubbles. Look at this poor kid. He knows the internet's coming. He knows this video is in his future. Right now, this kid's somewhere hitting a bong, and he's not exactly sure how that whole thing started. Come on, don't make me write jokes for this. Look, kid, just don't try this with Shin Godzilla, alright? This is an unusual contraption, and it should be. It's patented. First, a quick look at the figure. Amazingly, he has articulation in his legs here and the arms. The tail and head look like they could turn, mine don't. And he's got googly eyes. Or one googly eye. This eye over here is stuck. It refuses to Google. You give Godzilla some bubble fluid and it all stays in his head. This big hollow body doesn't fill up with bubble fluid or anything, it's mostly empty. Then you blow into his tail and the air carries to the end of the tailpiece, which is walled off, except for a tube. The tube carries the air all the way up the body and spins the piece in the mouth that produces bubbles. Like this. That's bubbles, alright. Small variety, but it's still bubbles. You have to blow with some force, because the air has some traveling to do. So you can't give it a gentle wind like you would with a bubble wand. You gotta blow. Blow into that tail. You just don't see many Godzilla items like this. I don't have this one, but let's acknowledge Imperial's Spark-E Godzilla with a high-speed friction motor and sparking action. Is this a car engine or a Godzilla toy? You might have seen this mold somewhere, even if it wasn't this Imperial toy. It's gotta be the same mold Takara used in Japan, and it's often bootlegged too. I'm just in it for this Godzilla card art. Imperial released 4 different sets of Godzilla action stickers. Each set includes 3 large lenticular stickers, images that change when you see them from different angles. There are all sorts of cool pictures of Godzilla destroying things, but also a couple of notable appearances. Here's the Super X taking a swing at the Big G. And this sticker's got Mechagodzilla on it. Whoa! Looks like he's inspired by Akihiko Iguchi's original design, too. Really cool. If you don't know what to do with stickers, the back's got you covered. You can trade them with friends. Give them as gifts. You could decorate your notes, your roller skates, your toes, your fingers, your ears. That's not what you do with stickers, especially big ones like this. This column says Stickum, which is literally the same thing as the Decorate column, but this column suggests that you can put them on notebooks, raincoats, hats, mittens, and flower pots. Did the guy who wrote this just kind of look around his room as he made up the list? So back to Mechagodzilla. Kinda random that he appears just on one sticker, but here's a scan of a spread from a dealer's magazine that shows a Mechagodzilla toy in the Imperial lineup. Yeah, there would have been a pretty big Mechagodzilla that shoots sparks from his mouth. Shame that didn't come into fruition. Moving over to the inflatables, back in 1978 when GLJ had the Godzilla license, they made a bop bag. Well, Imperial followed suit in 1985 and 1992. First, we'll inflate the 1985 bag. And here we go, this is a 48-inch bop bag. So this image in the background is actually a picture of a Godzilla action figure, a Bandai Poppy 18-inch toy from the previous year. The image is kind of in the back of the bop tube, while up in the front there's the logo and some more art. Look at this Super X wannabe! It's the Super X. It's a cool ship. But does it bop? I don't want to destroy this thing with my mighty fist, so I'll just give it a gentle tap. No, it does not bop! Moving on to the 1992 box, and why does everything about this feel like a porn parody? From Godzilla's phallic head, to the weird placement of the 3D burst, to the fact that there's another Godzilla up here humping the G in his own logo. The 1992 bop bag was profoundly harder to inflate. The first bag has a normal inflation knob, but this one's knob needs to be pinched real good to get air in, and less air gets in, so it takes more breaths. This bop bag is also 48 inches, but it was also released as 36 inches with the same art. This one's got no art in the foreground. It's got the 92 logo, and then that weird giraffe neck Godzilla. And he's on the standard floor being attacked by a generic plane and tank. I prefer the 85 bag. But does it bop? Yes, the 92 bag bops. It bops very well. In 1985, Imperial released a 6-foot inflatable Godzilla. And look at it strangling this kid. Looks like this other Godzilla's rushing in to stop him before the lawsuits start. I think the 6-foot was the only size they made in 1985, but in 1992, oh boy, they made a 4-foot, a 5-foot, a 6-foot, an 8-foot inflatable Godzilla. No matter how tall you are, there's a Godzilla to scale 1-to-1 with you. I wish I had them all so I could line them up, but I do have the 5-foot version. Caution, do not use as a life preserver. Who the hell would? Godzilla's a life destroyer, not a life preserver. It's got the harder to use inflation nozzle and more than one of them. I'm getting seriously lightheaded. I had to order a hand pump for this one. But here it is, the now classic inflatable Godzilla toy. Finally, a Godzilla to scale with my action figures. Most of these inflatable toys come with repair patches in case they get a rip, but even with patches, they just can't last forever. That's why working inflatables are getting harder and harder to find. Imperial Godzilla toys really left a mark on American pop culture. Besides the fact that they have high general familiarity, they can also be seen in American movies and TV shows. For example, the inflatable can be seen in the 1988 movie Big with Tom Hanks, and if you look closely, you'll spot another Godzilla on the vending machine. There's an Imperial Godzilla permanently residing in the living room in the sitcom Roseanne and its sequel The Connors. In the original show, sometimes there appeared to be 2 of them. And of course, there's Imperial Godzilla merch in the 1998 Michael Bay film Armageddon. That's everything I've got on Imperial Godzilla toys, a major piece of American Godzilla toy history. I want to give a quick research shout out to PlaidStallions.com. Always a great resource for this vintage merch. I leaned on him a lot this video, so please go check out his website at PlaidStallions.com. Great stuff. I know for a fact that a lot of you viewers had some of these items, so be sure to share your memories in the comments section. Thanks for watching Playtime, where we celebrate imagination, play together, and maybe learn something we didn't know. Hey, it's MIB with some exciting news about our longtime sponsor, Buy.jp. Remember, Buy is the site you can use to shop Japanese shops and auction sites. They handle language barriers, currency conversion, and all that stuff, so you can easily get the hard-to-get things you want. Well, now the channel is officially a Buy affiliate, which means when you sign up for a new account using the link below, you still get 2,000 yen of free money, and it also helps support the channel as well. Buy has been a great sponsor and a service I constantly use myself, so sign up for your account using the link below in the description today. Oh guys, I'm so excited. In my research, I found yet another old Godzilla game that no one outside of Japan has ever even heard of. It's called Beat Mothra, and it came out in—
Hey, MIB! Is that really you?
Who the hell are you?
My name's Fanny, and I'm your biggest fan. Oh my god, am I in a video game review?
Yeah?
What's that you're holding? Another piece of obscure media that nobody's ever heard about? Don't review that. Instead, I want you to review the 1993 Godzilla game for the Super Nintendo. Oh, the nostalgia.
But I was gonna review
People don't want to learn about new things, MIB. People want to see things they already know. Come on, review Super Godzilla. I love that game.
But if you already love it, why do you need me to review it?
Well, it's because of that attitude that I haven't watched any of your videos in a couple of years.
You said you were my #1 fan!
Review Super Godzilla! I want to see you fight Bagan! Oh, he's so tough!
You don't control me! What's happening here? I have no nostalgic connection to Super Godzilla. Like I've said in other videos, I grew up with a Sega Genesis, not a SNES. But let's cut to the chase. I don't like Super Godzilla. In fact, I go as far as to say that it bores the hell out of me. But I will kick off this review with some compliments. It has some really good sound and music. Listen to this. The classic Godzilla scores and roars translate surprisingly well. I must not be alone in thinking this, because this game's music was released on official soundtracks twice. The graphics are mostly good. The monsters look mostly okay in 16-bit, but I'm not gonna gush over this Mechagodzilla here. And even some shots of Godzilla look kinda wrong to me. Like, what's going on with his chest section over here? The plot is simple. It's the year 1990X. What does that even mean? That this happened somewhere in the 1990s and we don't know when? Anyway, aliens are invading Earth again and sending their monsters to attack. Now, usually, Godzilla will volunteer to come and kick the shit out of the aliens for us, but in this game, he's just sleeping at the bottom of the sea of... Sea of what? The Sea of Love? Oh, just the Sea of Japan. The Self-Defense Agency implants an operation box in his brain so that the humans can control Godzilla via the Super X2 ship to fight off the monsters. There's a whole cast of human characters who do a whole lot of babbling and exposition dumps while you play. Super Godzilla can be divided into two parts. The part where you're wandering around, and the part where you're engaged in combat with other monsters. Both parts suck! The city part looks like this. The top half of the screen is pretty, huh? But it's just for show, it's just cinematic. What you're doing as a player is navigating this little blue dot in the bottom half of the screen. This part of the screen is literally the game you're playing. You want to turn that dot to avoid buildings because even though Godzilla can easily knock them down, it hurts his health. Also, you're being attacked by the military, which makes no sense because I'm being controlled by the military. Why are they attacking me? I'm not joking when I say that all you're doing is directing this blue dot Godzilla around the map. Sometimes you need to turn on a dime, which this game isn't always 100% responsive to. You can find various power-ups or reactors that can recharge Godzilla's health. When you go out of bounds, this fool pops up to tell you to turn around, but it takes him 3 dialogue boxes to say it. Every time. Finally, I found the pink dot, which is King Ghidorah, and then the game switches into its infamous combat mode. This is the least intuitive combat you've ever seen in a Godzilla game. If you don't know what you're doing, King Ghidorah will destroy you, and you'll rage out because they took the simplest concept ever, a monster punching a monster, and they made it needlessly complicated. What you need to do is sneak in forward, land a punch, then immediately back off to trigger this rotating menu of special moves, and then you do a special move. These annoying lines here are the monster's fighting spirits, which also play into how strong your attacks and defenses are. Most of the fight cinematics look okay. Some look blah. This fighting system has its defenders. There are people who enjoy it. Hi, I see you. I'm just not one of them. Even when I fully understand what I'm doing, I'm bored.
I'm leaving a comment on why you're wrong.
Am I, though?
Actually, the fighting style is more academic for smart players who...
Oh, fuck off, Fanny. I'm gonna delete that comment.
Ooh, just wait till you get to Bagon. He'll beat your ass easily, and rightfully so, may I add.
The second stage introduces a new annoyance, random encounters with alien ships. These encounters are obnoxious. I'm trying to get my stupid blue dot across this map, and I keep getting thrust into these monotonous one-move fights. This level's boss is another Godzilla, but of course One Punch reveals it to be the Showa-era Mechagodzilla.
You forgot to mention in the Japanese version, it's the Heisei version of Mechagodzilla.
I didn't forget to mention anything, Fanny! Just because I don't make a point to say something, it doesn't mean I forgot to say it! Jesus Christ! Level 3 mixes things up because now I gotta break down all these electrical towers. And if I walk between them, I gotta wander around looking for the kidnapped professor before I can fight the main boss. All the while, I'm being thrust into more fights with UFOs. Look at that, I moved 1 pixel, and it triggered another fight. You could stop the UFO fights by taking out the mothership, but that's just one more thing on this level's huge to-do list. Finally, I rescue the professor, and I could fight Biollante. It must have been exciting to see Biollante and the upcoming Heisei-era monsters in an American game in 1993. Or maybe players were annoyed by all these new monsters and were wondering where the originals were.
And the main boss of this game is Bagan, a monster that almost appeared in several Godzilla films, but was always scrapped.
Yes, I know that. Everybody knows. I'm not up to that part yet.
I already wrote all of this in the comment section.
Here's an idea. Finish watching the video before leaving a comment.
How dare you call me out on this? Bagan is going to kick your ass.
In level 4, you fight Batra. Twice. In level 5, you're gonna fight Mecha King Ghidorah, but you have the option to first go around and collect the 3 special energy points. This will turn you into Super Godzilla. Yeah, it's not just a standard Super Nintendo titling thing, there really is a Super Godzilla in this game. And he looks ridiculous! He looks like an NFL quarterback! Seriously, what's with his shoulders?
Super Godzilla was the direct inspiration for the upcoming Space Godzilla.
Oh my god, really? Maybe this game is actually good then.
Really?
No, Fanny, this game blows! And you can get fucked! Here's my favorite part. There's a time limit here. You have to get to Mecha King Ghidorah before all of Tokyo is destroyed. But at the same time, they're encouraging you to destroy Tokyo, because with Super Godzilla, knocking down buildings doesn't deplete your health anymore. Super Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah, here we go. Some of these shots just look so weird to me. Like seriously, this is the best they could do with Super Godzilla here? But since Godzilla's all roided up, this fight is a breeze.
Just wait till you get to Bagan. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yes, this game is most famous for featuring Bagan, a monster who almost made it to the big screen in the 90s. He appears in this as well as the movie Studio Tour game I've previously reviewed. If not for Bagan's appearance in this game, I'm not sure how noteworthy Super Godzilla would actually be. And it's weird that this game even came to America instead of, you know, the other Godzilla game on this hardware that never came to the States. But that's a headache for another day. Again, I'll acknowledge that this game has its fans. As a game, it's competent in that it is a game and it is playable and it works. But compared to other SNES games and even other Godzilla games, I find Super Godzilla to be so tedious and unremarkable. I've put off this review for so long because I'm just never excited to play this game. Playing a blue dot is literally the polar opposite of the excitement that should come with playing as a giant monster.
2 stars!
Oh, Bagan is gonna kick your ass! Oh my god! You're gonna get so upset. Oh my god, you're fighting him as regular Godzilla? You're not even gonna fight him as Super Godzilla? Oh my god, that's a bold choice. He's gonna destroy you. I can't wait to see this. Wait, what? How? What? I don't understand. This can't be happening. Someone explain this to me. How did you do that?
Fuck Bagan. My man! Playtime! Yeah!
Hola mis amigos y bienvenido a Playtime, donde celebramos la imaginación, jugamos juntos y quizás aprender algo que no sabíamos.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Oh, and just like that, Taco Bell launched what would become its most famous ad campaign of its history. A chihuahua that says, "Yo quiero Taco Bell," joining the Pop Culture Hall of Fame of most quotable ads. The Taco Bell Chihuahua campaign officially launched September 1997. Funny thing is, in real life, this Chihuahua was a female named Gidget. The Chihuahua was voiced by Carlos Alazraqui, who's voiced many notable cartoon characters, including Rocco and Spunky. And then along comes 1998, where the entire country was gearing up for this huge movie you might have heard of called... The hype for the upcoming TriStar Godzilla movie was so strong that Godzilla was licensed to a ridiculous amount of companies for toys and merchandise. Taco Bell was one of those many companies. And this would pave the way for the Chihuahua Godzilla crossover.
Hey, Godzilla, want something to drink?
But before we deep dive Godzilla's history at Taco Bell, let's have a little trivia fun, shall we? In this video, we're going to be talking about the Godzilla toys that came in kids' meals at Taco Bell. Below are 4 more fast food chains, and I want you to tell me which is the one that never offered Godzilla toys in America in their version of a kids' meal. Was it A, Hardee's, B, Burger King, C, White Castle, or D, Carl's Jr.? The answer a little later. When it came to promoting the new Godzilla movie, Taco Bell went all in. For example, you could walk into a Taco Bell and buy one of these extra-large Godzilla cups with 4 different designs. Now, at the time of the making of this video, I only have 2 in my collection. But a fellow collector by the name of Victor was good enough to send me pics from his collection, so we can all get a look at all 4 cups. And they're really nice. I like their shine. The designs are really cool. I mean, yeah, they got these weird dad puns, but these are quality cups. I really like them. Along with the 4 cups, they were also offering this Godzilla cup holder, meant to go in your car so you could hold your extra-large Dr. Pepper. You have to remember this was 1998, before cars came standard with a dozen cup holders. Now, I know for a fact this is not going to be the only time I ever say this in a video. A lot of the merchandise for Godzilla 1998 is solid. For example, look at this cup holder. It's a nice sculpt. It's painted very well. I really like the colors. I think it was a really good idea to position Godzilla like this, with his arms and tail wrapped around the cup, since he was often depicted similarly with the movie art. This was a quality product, at least one for Taco Bell to be selling. And as of this video, you can secure one of these pretty cheap. I'm inclined to say that according to my research, this is probably one of the most common vintage Godzilla pieces that are still out there in the world. Taco Bell was also having a Find Godzilla and Win contest, where if you buy any gordita, medium or larger drink or combo, you would get a game piece. And according to this vintage paper bag I have here, thankfully not used, there were 2 ways to win. If you find Godzilla on your game piece, you're an instant winner. You could win Harley Davidson, trips to New York, Godzilla t-shirts, delicious Taco Bell food. Or you could use your decoder to reveal letters. Collect letters to spell words like Godzilla, claws, and tail to win cash. Now, normally I would say the idea of losing track of a giant iguana is kind of a weird angle for a contest, but it did happen in the movie, so...
I think I need a bigger box.
The commercial for this contest actually resulted in some t-shirts that you might spot in a thrift shop from time to time. Can you imagine seeing somebody wearing this shirt and you have no context? What is that dog talking about? Is this a penis joke? So just to reiterate, so far we have 4 cups, a cup holder, and a contest. But while I was talking with my fellow collector Victor, he let me know about these lenticular cards. These cards were packaged in take-home Taco Bell Home Originals taco shells. We're not even up to the toys yet, because we still need to talk about this promotional CD-ROM from Eon Magazine that was available free at Taco Bell's. As you can see, it's almost like an entire website on a CD-ROM with pages for the cast and videos and stills from the film. There's even a game. If only I had a video game review show to check that out. It's telling me that my colors are wrong, and that's why it won't display correctly. If anyone knows how I can fix this on Windows 98 running on an Oracle VM VirtualBox, let me know. And let's look at our trivia question again. The question was, which one of these fast food chains did not have a Godzilla toy in their kids' meal at any point in history? Carl's Jr. and Hardee's both had toys for the Godzilla animated series. They're owned by the same company. And believe it or not, of all places, White Castle offered Godzilla toys in 1990, thus making the correct answer Le Burger King.
Now Godzilla fits in a Taco Bell kids meal. Get him or one of 4 other action toys. Tanks, fighter jets, baby Godzillas, and helicopters.
But at last, let's head to the display table and check them out. And first up, we have this tank. Well, at first glance, I mean, it looks just like a standard tank. It's a tank. This is what tanks look like. Upon closer inspection, this tank's got a little battle damage. Guess it already went toe-to-toe with Godzilla. The only way you might know that this is related to Godzilla and not just a generic tank is this Godzilla Force sign on the back. It's good to know that once Godzilla started attacking New York, they had time to stop and rebrand all their military. So this thing is actually a water gun. You can put a little water in it and pump the top here, and you can splash Godzilla with water. Just in case he has the same weakness as those aliens and signs, I guess. Okay, next up we have a Godzilla egg keychain, and oh god, what happened to it? Now this is supposed to be one of the baby Godzillas in a egg, maybe? An embryo? Well, regardless, you can see that there's a baby Godzilla figure in there, and inside this clear sack was supposed to be a fluid of some sort. But time has not treated this well, as the fluid has all hardened into these green chunks. Yeah, looks like, unlike the other toys, this one had an expiration date. I mean, yeah, it has been over 20 years, but ugh, no. Here's another Godzilla baby egg toy, and this one thankfully did not rot. This one's more like a Weeble Wobble toy, where you can knock it around and it'll rebalance itself. You can even kind of drop it on its side and it'll figure out how to get right side up again. Sculpt is nice, wish it had a little bit more color to differentiate from the skin and the egg, but it's still a pretty cool toy. So we have another toy here that's gonna raise a lot of questions. So this one is some kind of rubble, maybe a street, and clearly Godzilla or one of the babies is trapped inside the rubble. This could be representing the destruction of Madison Square Garden at the end, in which case spoilers. And does that make this a dead baby Godzilla right here? This one's said to be a wobbler as well, but this toy doesn't want to weeble or wobble. My theory is that the 2 wobblers are not part of the main toy line, hence they're not in the commercial. I think these were alternative toys for restaurants to give to younger children, since they're the only toys in this collection that say 0+ on their packaging. The rest of the toys are marked for kids 3 and up. That said, I would not give this to an infant. Alright, now we got Godzilla himself. And I'm glad they did offer one full-body Godzilla toy. The way his tail and head are separated kind of makes you think that by wiggling his tail maybe it'll move his upper half or something, but I don't think this one really does anything. But still, it's pretty neat. For a smaller toy, the detail and paint job are good. I like that he's in his running stance with his head lower and his tail higher. I mean, this is just the right stance for Godzilla 1998 to be in. Look at that little face. That tiny little iguana face. Don't bite me! Now this next toy is my favorite, and there's a lot going on with this one. It actually comes in parts. The base part is a building, and there's Godzilla all wrapped around it again. Is he wearing nail polish? And it comes with this black pole thingy. And a helicopter. So you gotta pull the black thingy really fast so that the helicopter can fly away. Wow. Once again, upon a closer look, we can see some nice detail. Looks like Godzilla's playing peekaboo around the Chrysler building. The base part is definitely going to be the nice looking part here, as the helicopter part, although it clearly looks like a helicopter, is meant to be lighter so it can fly easily. Like this. Fly, you fool! Let's try this again standing up. Here we go. Fly! Hey, not bad. The next toy is a laser gun? What is this? It's like a laser gun. It comes with a jet. If you look closely, you can see Godzilla Force on the jet's wings. Oh, this is actually a disc shooter, and if you look at the back of it, it looks like somebody's aiming the discs right at Godzilla's eyeball. That's one way to take him out, I guess. Just poke him in the eye and blind him a little bit. This comes with 3 yellow discs that you can put inside the gun and just pull the trigger to shoot the disc. The jet doesn't do anything. You just kind of put it on top as an ornament. I'll be honest, at first glance, I thought pulling the trigger would launch the jet. That would have been pretty cool. But it's still pretty neat to have this launcher thing that you can shoot your toys with. Pew pew! Pew! Take that! These are quality toys. They feel like you get something. They don't feel cheap, like they're just shoved into a kid's meal box. It's cool how instead of just being a sculpt, most of these actually do something. You can actually play with these. As a matter of fact, playing with these toys is more fun than watching Godzilla 1998. Even the expired egg one. But it just kind of shows you that they put some real effort into marketing Godzilla at Taco Bell. They gave Godzilla 1998 the A game. They thought this was gonna be huge. Like seriously, like the next Jurassic Park huge. But we all know that didn't happen! The toys came in one of these 2 Godzilla Kids Meal boxes. And I'm actually glad I have these to show you guys, because they have some pretty cool art on them. Like, look at this one here, is Godzilla's kind of taking a nap. A guy with a camera running away. I've never done it, but it shows you all these spots where you can punch and fold, and it's kind of funny that it keeps telling you to punch out Godzilla. It even encourages you to use some of the toys, like the tank or the helicopter, to fire at the kids' meal box. To me, these little paragraphs of directions all over the box are kind of interfering with the art. I would have rathered it just been flat and featured this really nice art. So as you could see, and like I said earlier, Taco Bell really went all in on Godzilla 1998. But what happened next? In July 2000, Taco Bell retired the Chihuahua advertisements. In 2003, Taco Bell was forced to pay $30.1 million in compensation and $12 million additional dollars in interest to 2 men from an ad firm who claimed they came up with the Chihuahua concept. So I don't even know if this whole ad campaign was profitable, but anyone who was alive during it will probably remember it forever. In 2009, at age 15, Gidget was euthanized after having a stroke. And then in January 2014, Taco Bell officially discontinued offering kids' meal toys in its US stores. Is there a happier note to end this video on? No.
The last 7 decades have shown us a lot of different Godzilla suits, but there is a specific suit I want to spotlight today that I feel is both memorable and culturally significant. At least, to me it is. Today we're going to honor an American Godzilla suit that made some impressive rounds in the late 1970s, from the big screen to the small screen. It's also the story of how Godzilla was almost in the movie Beetlejuice. This is the story of the Robert Short Godzilla suit. Alright, let's talk about Robert Short's Godzilla costume. What's the deal? Why make a video about it? What is this all about? Helping me with today's video is Wikizilla's own Astounding Beyond Belief.
Thanks, MIB. Robert Short is a well-known name for fans of film, especially film makeup and effects. He's an Academy Award winner, as well as a visual effects supervisor, puppeteer, costume designer, and more. But before much of that, in the 1970s, he was working at Don Post Studios, the manufacturer of some of the world's first rubber Halloween masks.
Mr. Short had been a Godzilla fan since he was a kid. During his time at Don Post Studios, he felt that owning a Godzilla suit would be, in his words, so cool. And at Don Post Studios, Mr. Short had everything he needed to get started. He had access to materials and a shop to build in. In an email exchange with me, he wrote, "I created almost all of it without molds or sculpting by just using soft foam sheeting and cutting it into shapes. The eyes and teeth were cast latex, while the eyes were lightweight vacuum-formed plastic. I glued strips of sheet foam on the surface of the body and then used a blowtorch on the shapes which rounded them off. Then I coated the entire suit with a heavy coating of latex rubber. The end result was a Godzilla costume that captured the playful charm of that time."
Mr. Short then wore the costume to a few conventions, including the 1976 San Diego Comic-Con, and he'd used the suit during the Irwin Allen Awards, a joke ceremony where awards were given to the worst visual effects by big studio films. Short himself hosted the presentation where he introduced Godzilla, who then came out to sing and dance. Don Post Studios received a request to rent a Robbie the Robot suit, which was owned by Special Projects manager Bill Malone. This would be for the 1976 movie-making satire Hollywood Boulevard, co-directed by a then up-and-coming Joe Dante, and produced by John Davison. But Don Post Studios mentioned that they also had a Godzilla costume kicking around, and Davison and Dante loved the idea and wrote Godzilla into the script. In the film, the character is credited as Godzilla and played by herself, although in reality it was Robert Short in the costume. In this satire, Godzilla is one of several creatures featured in Atomic War Brides, a science fiction film within a film.
Now, Godzilla, all through the picture, Candy has rebuffed you. And in this scene, your motivation is to make her understand that for you, it's really love. And while you're at it, I want you to step on as many people as possible.
Interestingly, although the monster suit is called Godzilla, the film's poster lists a credit for Godzilla, and even though its appearance was brief, Mr. Short's costume even made it to some of the movie's foreign posters.
It wasn't long before Mr. Short received another rental request for his Godzilla costume, and this request came from a late-night sketch comedy show, Saturday Night Live, which at the time was still in its infancy. According to Mr. Short, they called and said that Belushi wanted to use the suit for a sketch, so we built a huge wood crate for it and shipped it off. And in 1977, John Belushi wore the Godzilla costume for a skit in which Gilda Radner, playing Barbara Walters, interviews the giant monster about his life.
Godzilla, if I could get a watt more personal with you, how do you and your wife do it?
Very carefully.
NBC used the suit again that year during a primetime airing of Godzilla vs. Megalon. During the special, bumpers aired with Belushi as Godzilla, remarking on the Godzilla film and franchise. Unfortunately, these bumpers are unavailable to the public and may even be lost media. Quick side note, Godzilla returned to SNL in the early 1980s for a Kramer vs. Kramer parody, but an entirely different suit was used.
According to Mr. Short, he'd always wanted to go back and replace the head of his Godzilla suit, but never got around to it. After leaving Don Post Studios, Don Post allowed him to store the suit there. Eventually, it began to deteriorate, not unlike Toho's own monster suits that were allowed to rot away. When Mr. Short's suit became more trouble than it was worth, he disposed of it. He was very sad to see it go. But because of his interest in Godzilla, Mr. Short got a chance to visit Toho in Japan and watch some of the Return of Godzilla being filmed in person.
Years later, Robert Short almost had another chance to build a Godzilla suit for the 1988 Tim Burton movie Beetlejuice. Several sequences of the film take place in the afterlife, where ghosts appear as they looked the moment they died. According to Mr. Short, one of the afterlife characters was originally going to be an actor in a Godzilla suit with a miniature jet plane stuck in the side of his head. But as much as he was looking forward to building this suit, the idea was dropped for budgetary reasons. Of course, we know Tim Burton already has some experience with Godzilla, as he used the costume by effects artist Cleve Hall a few years earlier in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Nevertheless, in 1989, Mr. Short shared an Academy Award in the category of Best Makeup for his work on Beetlejuice. Over the years, Robert Short has done special effects work for E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Splash, Cocoon, and more. And he's become a well-known name to fans of filmmaking. He even got to return to the world of giant monsters by being a visual effects supervisor on the short-lived NBC series Surface. Today, he still has a soft spot for Godzilla, and he's glad to hear that the Big G's fans have remained strong for so many years.
While the majority of Godzilla's history comes from Japan, it's good to remember that every once in a while, America produces something that really sticks in the minds of fans as they age. Something with an interesting context, and a story worth preserving. For us, it's the story of the Robert Short Godzilla costume.
I'd like to thank Mr. Short for taking the time to reply to my emails and offer all of his insight into his infamous creation. Leave your thoughts and memories in the comments below. Until next time.